For we motorcyclists, there is nothing better than leaning into a corner and following the perfect outside, inside, outside path. When done correctly, it is effortless and smooth, like flying without leaving the ground. We are in command of our motorcycle. We are in the zone. There is a Taoist concept that for me describes these feelings best, that of Wu Wei, effortless action or non-action. In this video, we are going to discuss this concept and how it applies not only to motorcycling, but to life in general. The footage for this video is from a great road in upstate New York that I introduced on our trip to Lake Placid, and that is Ensign Pond Road. This is a great road with lots of twists and turns, which makes it a great metaphor for traveling with the flow of life. As with any sport, the ultimate motorcycle experience can be found when we act without thinking, when we go with the flow of the road and become one with our bike. We don't fight for control, we move with our machine as the river flows downhill, winding its way not through obstacles, but around them. We don't need to ride at competitive levels to experience this kind of flow. Even at the pedestrian levels of we average riders, these kinds of effortless actions can be achieved when we let go and ride in harmony with our bike and with the road. The paradox of this effortless action, and yes, there is always a paradox, is that it can only be achieved after many hours and many miles of purposeful, intentful learning and practice. To ride in the flow, we must seek out instruction from those who know the proper techniques and then be willing to put in the necessary work. For me, I have spent many hours walking myself through every corner. What is the right entry speed? What should my lane position be? When do I see the exit? And when can I get back on the gas? I would seek out the twistiest route I could find and repeat this process mile after mile, over and over again. Now, did I hit every corner right? No, absolutely not, and I still don't. This is one of the addictive things about riding. It is almost impossible to get it right every time. At some point, after years of patience and practice, I found that I could turn the effort off and just act. When out on a long tour, I can relax, enjoy the scenery, and know that my instincts and muscle memory will put me where I need to be. I can ride in the flow, executing without forcing. Motorcycling is not the only place I have found this state of Wu Wei. I think the first time I can remember when things just clicked was playing baseball. Throwing out a runner at second base or hitting a home run, I didn't have to think about the mechanics of throwing or hitting. I just moved and they happened. Sports is the place most people just feel in the zone. You can't explain it, but there are just days when everything falls into place and you play at a higher level. Of course, these elevated levels of play don't just happen. They are the result of many hours and possibly years of practice, practice, practice. This principle of Wu Wei can be applied to life in general. In the past, I have related the story of how I returned to motorcycling at 46 years of age. I wanted to travel and see the country, but I always seemed to have more things that I needed to do before I could get to the point of living my dreams. It wasn't until I let go of needing to have everything lined up perfectly that I was able to stop dreaming and start living. This is the paradox of Wu Wei. Many times in life, you will find that less effort provides better results than constant striving. And to further the paradox, I could not have gotten to the point of letting go if I had not gone through the frustration of trying to make sure everything was perfectly aligned. When I was young, it was easy to live in the natural flow of life. I had no responsibilities and everything was fun and new. But then as I moved into my teenage years, things started getting more complicated. Suddenly my appearance mattered, the kind of music I liked mattered, and the clique I identified with mattered. Life got even more complicated as I moved into my working years. I had bills, a home, a family, and friends, all that required attention. There was always steps I had to take, such as setting up a 401k or IRA, paying for college, and balancing holidays with the in-laws. As an adult, there were armies of people telling me the things required for long-term security, along with what and who I needed to care about and be mad at. It was truly exhausting. Fortunately, I made it through into middle age and found there is light at the end of the tunnel. And yes, here comes the old man part. At least for me, moving into my 60s and my retirement years has been like returning to those carefree days of childhood. Of course, I still have responsibilities, but being free from the need to work has allowed me to look at those required tasks in a different way. I no longer try to force things. I don't sit around contemplating my navel and waiting for the universe to manifest things that I want. Rather, I just easily and calmly do what I need to do. For example, I have a little shed project I'll be working on today. Yes, I would rather be out riding, but things need to be done. I still live in Lao Tzu's world of 10,000 things, and like me, these things get old and need to be fixed. I have been procrastinating about the shed for a few years now, putting it off to ride. So it is time to suck it up and go with the flow. It is time to do the next best thing. For me, practicing Wu Wei is not about following a set of rules. I don't meditate except on the motorcycle or maybe while writing down my thoughts. Rather, I have simply changed my mindset. I try to accept life for what it is. For me, the concept of Wu Wei is about not letting life get too serious. Like the great Stoic philosophers remind us, the two rules to living a good life are to focus on the things you can change and letting go of the rest. There are many things in this crazy world that I have opinions on, but most of it I can do nothing about. I try to remember what Lao Tzu wrote in the 37th verse of the Tao Te Ching. The Tao does nothing, yet leaves nothing undone. These words are not to be taken literally. They are a metaphor reminding us that the Tao, the Spirit of God, flows within everything. It needs to do nothing because it is everything. Practicing Wu Wei or non-action is not about being lazy or passive. Rather, like the Buddhist traditions of the 5 remembrances or Jesus telling us that the meek will inherit the earth, it is a reminder that those who remain humble, gentle, and kind are the true beneficiaries of inner peace in this life and perhaps rewards in the next, depending on your beliefs. It is like riding your motorcycle. You can get away with forcing your will on the machine, being jerky and doing stupid things for a while, but eventually it's going to catch up with you. The true path to mastery starts with conscious effort, but ends in letting go and riding or living in the flow. Ride safe and, of course, keep squeezing your lemon.